Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
I'm doing well, coming off a beautiful weekend for the most part. I mean, it was a little chilly at times, but the sun shone most of it. I spent a lot of it outside, so it was a good weekend.
Love that, yeah.
How about yours?
It was good. We went down to Atlanta, Georgia for a wedding.
Oh, okay.
And had a great time. It was my cousin's wedding. I only have 3 first cousins, so very small family. And it was great. It was nice to be with family that I hadn't seen in a while. You know, the cousins are older. We're all a little grown up.
They all have kids too, so that yours get...
One of them does. Yeah,
okay.
One of them that was there. He has some kids. And so my kids got to play with their second cousins and
awesome.
All that kind of stuff. It was a great little quick weekend. Georgia Aquarium. It was amazing.
Ooh.
We made the most of it while we were there.
Good.
So went to the aquarium, went to
Larisons
the zoo,
usually do.
Yeah, and it was great. I'm telling you, if you guys are traveling, look for cities that have this thing called a city pass. It's like citypass.com. You buy one ticket and it gets you entry to like the best things the city has. So we got to go to like the aquarium, that World of Coke factory in Atlanta, and the zoo. And there were 2 things on the city pass that we didn't get to do, but it was like $99 for an adult, $79 for a kid.
And that gets you into everything?
Get you into all of it.
Because I know that some cities, I think Chicago has these too, that you can get
We've
those.
used City Pass.
We've
used Chicago's.
But there's only, it's like 3 museums and
Yes.
that, or Navy Pier, and so there's only a handful. But the one in Atlanta is all of them?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 different things.
Cool.
But it was awesome. It was really cool to see Atlanta. Like my kids got to see the city, and it was really fun. Weather was awesome. It was like, honestly, it was very similar to here. It was like high 60s, low 70s, and sunny, and had a great time.
Awesome.
It was good. So, all right. So let's get into the show here with Robert Miller & Son Furniture.
Absolutely.
Unlock incredible savings this tax season at Robert Miller & Son. Tax season is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
This
right.
April, enjoy a 30% off discount on all furniture, plus with 0% interest financing for up to 60 months on eligible purchases. You can easily furnish your home with top-rated bestsellers like Lazy Boy recliners, Smith Brothers living room sets, and premium mattresses, all while staying within your budget. Visit us today here in Kokomo, Robert Miller & Son Furniture, right here in Kokomo, up to 30% off. It's amazing.
With those discounts, you could maximize those tax returns.
100%. 100%
so
you
much.
could. Love it.
Cool.
Okay, what's going on at City Hall this week?
What's going on at City Hall this week? A lot of meetings today, and so I'm not quite sure. I was trying to get on top of some of the things that the various departments are doing. I know we're anxiously waiting, as is the entire community, for our milling machine to be up and running so we can start milling up some streets and paving them. The asphalt plant is open, but as fate would have it, milling machine is down, which is why we hadn't knocked anything out yet streetwise, but hopefully that will be forthcoming. The amazing folks at our central garage that keep all of our city vehicles up and running and in the right direction are doing an outstanding job with the challenges that they face every day, but specifically with this milling machine that's, my gosh, I think it's probably 20 years old or whatever. And so they were waiting on a part. But hopefully we'll see that puppy out, grinding up some asphalt and laying some new stuff down soon.
Love that.
So looking forward to that. Wednesday-ish will be when the RFP goes out to potential team owners for a new baseball team to play in Kokomo Municipal Stadium. So any of our viewers out there that have the means to own and run a baseball team, watch for that. Or if you're not on our distribution list, let us know. So that'll be going out later this week. Excited to get that out and see what comes back. Hopefully have something back, decided, and sealed by basically in June, but by the 1st of July. So that gives the new team owner the opportunity to start recruiting when planning and make some visits to the stadium, kind of checking it out and seeing, get some thoughts together on that. But in the meantime, all kinds of stuff happening there at the stadium. I know yesterday was opening day for the championship Park teams
Nice.
are Kokomo United Baseball and Softball Leagues. Instead of having opening day out at Championship Park, they had it there at Municipal Stadium. I think this is the second year they've done that. It's easier for fans and relatives and such to see the kids as they come out. So great opportunity there. But Bullpen Sports that manages the games, not only for our local leagues, but to the travel ball and other events out at Championship Park, has agreed and to an extension of their current agreement with the city to also manage Municipal Stadium. So that will be the outfit that will be doing that. And so we'll see some of our, I think I've mentioned this before, some of our local leagues having some games, some of their season games rotated in and played at Municipal Stadium, which will be a fun experience for them. But then also looking at for other events this summer. So
Love that.
Moving forward, getting ready.
Tell you, man, it's almost summer here. It's almost
I know it.
weather
I know
season here in Kokomo, and things always start to pick up in a big way
Big
when
way.
that happens. Love it.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's get into the questions for the Ask the Mayor
Cool.
segment of this show. Like we do every week, we have some pre-show questions. Some I pulled from last week's episode, and some I've pulled from you guys have been emailing us. You've been DMing us through Facebook. A lot of different ways. Questions.
So there were
popped
some
up
from
today.
last week that we didn't get to. There was like 16 or 17.
Well, they commented like after the show was over.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Sure.
so like post-show questions as people were watching.
Good.
It. So, and as
right.
well, we've been posting it in different local groups and things like that too. So, okay, first one today is from Bree on Facebook.
Hey, Bree.
When can we put in a bill or an idea of lower housing instead of continually allowing corporations to buy single family homes and jack up the rent way beyond what a normal mortgage would cost? I am absolutely astounded. We bought the house that we were renting to avoid moving, and our mortgage is cheaper than our rent and also has our insurance and taxes wrapped into it. Can we work in affordable housing considering the state is working on voting for criminalizing homelessness today?
Yes.
Free on
So,
Facebook.
I mean, I think as we continue to increase the availability of housing options in our community, the rents will work their way back down. I think I mentioned this last week or on a previous show that really the culprit is supply and demand, because the supply has been so few and far between and the demand has been greater. They've been able to charge the rents they have, and a lot of these workers that are starting to rent or to live in these facilities have stipends, and so a lot of what they are able to pay, the landlords are able to do that. So, I mean, I don't know that it's, I mean, yes, it may seem like there are a number of out-of-town landlords that are the culprit or being the ones that are gouging everyone, but really it's the market's taking care of itself with that. So I think as more available units, whether it's apartments or single-family homes, become available and part of the market, that will work its way back down. I mean, I met with a developer this afternoon, and they're already starting to see this. I mean, now that the first battery plant is complete and the second one, is still a couple years away, a lot of the workers that were renting the homes, that were in the hotels and such, have now moved on to other jobs. And so now that those are starting to become available, in order to get those occupied, this particular developer, and he mentioned, maybe a few others, are looking at the need to reduce those rents in order to get them occupied. So now that the craziness of these last 2 years has finally settled, with a lot of the workers leaving the area from the construction, I think that will work itself out. So as for passing an ordinance or a bill regulating that, that gets, I think, too much into Big Brother. If government steps in and starts telling property owners and business owners how to run their business or what to charge and what not to charge, walks a thin line, or a fine line. So, I mean, I think, like I said, I think it'll start working itself out here in the next handful of months.
Yeah. And also, I mean, interest rates have played a big part in this too. Interest rates have hiked up, which means the cost of the owning of the home is more. So then the rent goes along with it. Kind of like what we're seeing with a lot of tariffs right now. If the cost of good is going to be more due to a tariff of the product being shipped in, the cost of that product also goes up. So interest rates is, they're a part of that too. So it's so multi-layered.
Yeah.
It's not just a black and white thing. There are a lot of variables that go into it.
But very cool that they saw that opportunity and were in a position
I love
to go ahead and mortgage, buy and mortgage the home as opposed to rent it, and recognizing those savings. And now that it's their investment as opposed to the other.
Huge. Yeah. So. Very cool. Next question is from Eric on Facebook. Hey. So 2 questions. Okay. What is being constructed east of the battery plant? Also, is something being done with the land where Morningstar Church was located?
The land east of the battery plant, I believe, is a warehouse type of spec building that is used for to supplement the supplying companies, as they have equipment in and out. And so it's just an additional kind of warehouse commercial building for rent or for lease there as well. And the site on the former Morningstar Church, they're close to Championship Park, out east, next to the McGonigal dealership. Don't know what's being planned there. It's privately owned, a private LLC or a company or partnership purchased that land, and I think they're still kind of weighing their options. As we understand it, it's my understanding that nothing has come to the Planning Commission for proposed plans or any type of rezoning or anything. So right now it's just sitting dormant, and part of that could be they may be waiting to see what the owners to the east of Championship Park or east of that ground in that little corner of the 31 bypass in Markland are going to do to see what they might be able to put in to complement that, or maybe do it themselves to spark. So long answer short, don't know.
Okay. Next question is from Kathy on Facebook. Hey. The Indian Maiden has become an eyesore. It needs to be restored. And I just did some quick Googling. So that is like a statue that's in front of Storybook Express?
Yes, they're at the corner of Sycamore and Apperson.
Yeah.
On the northwest corner. The maiden statue itself probably, I guess I hadn't paid attention to see what state it's in. So I don't know if she means the statue or just the landscaping. I know that not necessarily the platform, but the area that they built up around to place the Indian Maiden statue has some bricks falling and probably some landscaping. And I know the master gardeners, I believe, are looking at assisting and helping with that. But there's even talk of the possibility of moving that to a position closer to the creek down along the trail as well. So
who owns the statue?
That I believe.
Is it the same people that own Storybook?
The city probably, no, it's completely separate. And that may be something that I guess by default the city owns. I know that I believe Scott Pitcher was the one that was approached about commissioning the statue itself and placing it there because he had purchased the lot and put the Storybook Express facility there. But yeah, I think that area, even though it's on the property of the owner of the Storybook, which I don't believe it's Scott Pitcher anymore. I forget who owns it. And maybe theirs by way of property ownership, but some type of understood agreement or gentleman's handshake that the master gardeners or the city would help maintain that. But she's not the first one that's mentioned that it looks like some of the bricks are falling and needs to be addressed. And so I know that's something that we're looking at. So thank you for reminding me.
Next question is from Courtney on Facebook. When will Jackson Morrow splash pad and playground be completed? This gets brought up a lot.
Yeah, so we're hoping for, we're shooting for Memorial Day weekend. Not sure. We're still waiting on Indian American Water to complete the line or the work that needs to be done to complete the line that will service the bathrooms and the splash pad itself. So kind of working through that, but our hopes it would be for Memorial Day weekend, if not maybe the first few weeks in June. So cross your fingers that things work out and that we're able, that Mother Nature cooperates weather-wise so we can continue to do that, but then we can iron out what needs to be done to get the water to the bathrooms and the pad itself. So.
Gotcha.
Hopefully soon.
Okay. Next question is from Derek on Facebook. Potholes have ruined my tire, homie. Please fix them. At least your homies.
I know. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If he and others who have experienced any type of car damage can file a formal tort claim with the city, and those forms are available on the city's website, www.cityofkokomo.org. I think you'd have to print it off. I don't think you can complete it online. I'm not sure. Some of the forms we can, and some of them we can't. But in any case, with that, you may have to print it off, complete it, and drop it off of the third floor to the corporate counsel's office there next to mine. But likewise, if you go online and you can fill it out, it would be electronically submitted. And then what happens when that form is received by City Hall or by our corporation counsel or city attorney, it is then turned over to our liability insurance provider, and then they take it from there. It's we're I guess out of the loop at that point. So I mean, anything, whether it's a tire or anything else. I mean, we have folks filing things all the time, and so it gets turned over to the insurance company for them to decide, just like a typical claim.
Okay. Ron's Town Car on Facebook wants to know, is he controlled by Paul Wyman?
Am I controlled by Paul Wyman? I don't believe so. I mean, Paul and I have had I know, right? Yeah. I mean, Mr. Wyman and I have had a great working relationship, both professionally and personally. He and I were both county commissioners and served together. My first term as commissioner, he was on the county, and obviously in his capacity as a real estate agent, and then my former capacity as a member of our family's title insurance company, did a lot of work together on that, and we go to the same church and such, and so yes, we are friends, acquaintances, business professionals, and such. But I mean, I don't know that he necessarily controls me. I mean, I go to him sometimes with some advice on things, or bounce some ideas off of him, because he does have a great business mind, loves our community, which is evident with the amount of time and effort that he puts in year after year with the Haynes Apperson Festival, and a number of nonprofit organizations that ask him to participate and such. And so because of his love of our community, good resource to use when ideas come up. And so controlling, no. Associate, sure. I mean, so we work well together. So.
Got it.
Okay.
Next question is from Cheryl on Facebook. This is news to me. Why did Kokomo lose the Chick-fil-A franchise to Tipton?
I don't know. I didn't know we had lost it.
You didn't know this either.
I didn't know that either. So it's my understanding that once Chick-fil-A received the final approval from the Planning Commission, that they are moving forward on plans and probably putting the specs together to put their design out for bid to have construction, and should be breaking ground sometime this year, if not late this spring, early summer. I don't know when that is, but don't believe that they have pulled the plug on Kokomo and moved down to Tipton. So news to me. Not sure where she heard it, but
got it. Okay.
Could have been on social media.
Yeah, maybe Cheryl heard something wrong there. Okay. She had another question too. Right now, the patches on 931 are a bit less than desirable. I know they are still working, but they are going to put are they going to put a final smooth surface when finishing up?
Yeah. So a few folks have jokingly said, "Oh, I love those new speed bumps along 931." So what NDOT has done, and again, this is the state of Indiana, the Indiana Department of Transportation, because the state still owns, maintains, and has authority over 931. It's not the city, it's not the county. And so, yes, they are planning on repaving that section of 931, both northbound and southbound, from just south of State Road 26 up to Markland Avenue, maybe even through that intersection. But a lot of what has been done in the last few weeks that she's referring to is preliminary site work on some troubled areas along through there. So they went in, addressed some of the I guess they call it the undercarriage of the road, the decking of the road in those areas before they will now go through and grind over the top and do the repaving. So that's not the end of the work that they're being done as we see it now. But yeah, I mean, I think as much as it kind of jars everybody, it's might have slowed a few folks down. But no, it is less than desirable, but it's a necessary means of preliminary work before formal repaving.
Got it. Okay.
So.
Meg on Facebook wants to know, are there any plans for a grocery store downtown?
There have been a few conversations had for a grocery store downtown. I know there's a great little grocery store just on South Union, south of Superior, El Borrego. It's also a restaurant, but it's a nice Mexican grocery store that has a lot of opportunities and offerings there. But anything larger than that has not been solidified. Like I said, we've had a conversation with a few individuals that have considered that, but a lot of the grocers that we've talked to just in the 5 years, a little over 5 years that I've been mayor, and even previous administration that have had to try to entice larger grocers to come, especially since Marsh closed the two that we had in town, have not, I guess, produced results yet, just because those grocery store companies don't see it as a viable option for them to come into our market the way things stand. And a lot of that has to do with the small box discount stores that provide grocery items. So that's the unfortunate struggle that we continue to face, but doesn't mean we're not going to stop trying. There's still a Howard County Food Alliance group that was formed a few years ago, made up of city officials, county officials, nonprofits, church organizations, the hospitals, economic development organizations, and stuff that are working toward addressing food insecurities and food accessibility. And so hopefully something will continue to be done.
Gotcha. And I do know the Radish downtown right on the square.
Oh, yeah, the
has
Radish.
some grocery
Has some
items.
small items. Mm-hmm.
Probably can't do like a full grocery trip there, but maybe you can get close. Mm-hmm. So there are some options right on the square here. Let's see. The next question is from Jason through Facebook DM. Does the city have any new plans to do something with Future Park? Someone could say, do you have any future plans?
Any future plans for
Future
Future Park? Not at this time. I know a few things have been tossed around for that. I know part of the area does have some restrictions on it that we'd have to work through, but no, there's not been any movement toward anything. There's the possibility of considering additional tennis courts or pickleball courts back in there, but hadn't. But at this time, no. I mean, I've had ideas thrown out, maybe a small disc golf course or a remote control car course. I mean, we had a few folks asking about that and inquired about. So looking at maybe at the Wildcat soccer complex there along Markland as a site for that, or maybe even Future Park. So a few ideas, but only so much that we can do on the ground back there. But it would be a great space to have something there. So folks are welcome to throw ideas at us to consider, and we can look at it, look at the possibility with that. So.
Gotcha.
Nothing at this time.
Next question is from Rob through direct email. On the super foggy morning last week, I think it was Thursday, I saw two city police cars driving together, neither with their headlights on and super low visibility. Since one was following the other, they both would have known that neither of them had their headlights on. What's the city's policy on defending LEOs, law enforcement officers, that catch another law enforcement officer breaking the law? I understand that it's not often that cops will pull over other cops for fear of backlash, but I am wondering if the city would protect a law enforcement officer if backlash occurs.
No, what would happen is if something is brought before the police department, or if an officer breaks the law or has something, if it's obviously breaking the law, then they're held accountable and then goes through the process. If it's something that is known internally, then there's internal investigations that are done within the department. If it's something that they do not feel comfortable addressing themselves, I know there have been instances where they turn it over either to the Howard County Sheriff's Department or to the state police, typically the state police department first, for them to investigate and handle. So in that case, not going to try and give excuses or justify what they do. You know, sometimes they're taking off and heading to, a call, and I don't know if they were doing it stealthily or whatever, but hopefully realized, as they continued on, that they needed to have lights on. But not sure of the circumstance, but no. I mean, if an officer breaks the law, then they are not above the law and are held accountable. And whether the court system or the judicial system itself takes care of it, or an internal investigation, or an investigation that's turned over to the state police. So.
Got it. Sorry, we are getting some live chat questions.
Hey,
so I'm trying to
good
make
deal.
sure I'm just not going to miss any of those today. We are up to 16 questions this week, which is what we were last week.
Rolling.
It was crazy. So the next question from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union on live chat. Does the mayor think the Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union is just the most awesome? Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union on live chat.
I do think they're pretty awesome. They've helped me in a few instances personally with some financing and some things and some accounts for my children and such. So yeah, Solidarity is a great partner for the Kokomo community and all those that live, work, reside, worship, and play in
Love that.
our area. Yep.
Well, that's one way to
Solidarity
butter your
community.
toast there, Solidarity. Next question is from Michael on live chat. What are the plans to extend the walk/bike trail that currently ends behind the old Dog and Suds location? Man, that's a name I have not seen in a while. I know that it would involve the purchase of the unused railroad track that crosses 31 and ultimately goes all the way to Tipton. Michael on live chat.
Yep. And we've talked about this before, and so never hurts to bring it back up. Yeah, so as he mentioned, it's the railroad line, and so the city only owns the trail up back behind Dog and Suds and under the bridge and up the other side. But fortunately, as NDOT addressed the bridge there at that crossing, they are widening it so that we can have a little bit of area on the east side of that to hopefully continue some type of pedestrian opportunity or bike opportunity across that bridge to get to the neighborhood. But once you get to the rail line, it's still owned by the railroad company. And so that line that runs, there at Markland down, as he mentioned, to Tipton, and even the one that now ends at Markland and Dixon, we were hoping to end at Deffenbaugh to get Deffenbaugh all the way to, through Roucheville to the county line, maybe even to Frankfort in Clinton County. The railroad companies still own those and still feel that although they're inactive, they're not abandoned. And inactive just means that there's still a chance they may want to throw a train on there, as opposed to just abandoning it altogether. But even in either one of those cases, they still believe that they have an asset that is worth something to them, worth more to them than what the communities may feel. And in many situations, especially in each of those cases, are asking more to purchase the rail line than what we can justifiably spend for that, because then there's the cost then of improving, removing the rails and then improving and paving and such. I mean, so there's, those costs to take into consideration as well. And so therein lies the struggle. Never say never, though. We keep poking them.
Yeah, there's a few spots around town, and the one just right here at Buckeye and Sycamore downtown gets talked about a lot as well. And
unfortunately that line from really Superior, from the trestle bridges through downtown up to really the depot, so almost to Jackson Street, is owned by a local company. And so we've had conversations with them, and they've basically allowed us to do some improvements on there. We're trying to work out the logistics of that, but basically to pay over it with the understanding that if they choose to reactivate the line, we would then have to bear the expense of taking that up and getting the rails back into a condition that could permit a train to traverse.
Railroads own the world. Next question also.
That's why they're on the
chat.
monopoly board. Our director of development said this afternoon. He's like, man, now I know why they get 4 spots on the monopoly board.
Yeah, they own it. Next question is from Joseph, also on live chat. Are there any plans for Kokomo to get a Wawa? There is a gas station on the north end that looks like the exact same bricks that Wawa uses. That's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
You're looking at
right?
like the specific bricks.
Mm-hmm. Not that I'm aware of. I know there's been conversations, I think, had with a few large convenience / gas corporations that have interest along the 31 bypass corridor that, based on either availability of land, price of land, the restrictions within our ordinances and such that would prohibit that, haven't produced that, but doesn't mean that they're not still actively looking. So no plans for a Wawa or a Buc-ee's at this time, but never say never.
Gotcha. Yeah, Buc-ee's is slowly making their way up north. Yeah. Next question is from TJ on live chat. Will we ever have another disc golf course? You talked about this earlier. In any one of our parks other than Highland Park? Or could there at least be some effort committed to the current course? For example, there are exactly 0 benches or waste baskets along the course. And the course has multiple basket locations, but the baskets are rarely ever moved. TJ on live chat.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely look at some additions or improvements to the existing disc golf course there in Highland. It's my understanding that there was a plan drawn up at one point to have a disc golf course out at the reservoir. So that's even a possibility. I know it's further outside of the city limits, but I've had folks ask about a disc golf course out at Jackson Morrow, and I know there's a lot of space, but it is a pretty active place, and so that might be a little more challenging and dangerous to have a disc golf course at Jackson Morrow. But outside of that, like I said, plans somewhere, as I understand it, for potentially putting one out at the reservoir. So that could be a possibility. I know that there's a disc golf course, I believe, out behind Crossroads, and I don't know how often that's open to the public. But if he's unaware of that, you can call the folks at Crossroads to see what the availability is for those in the public to use that. But we'll definitely look at some additional possibilities there.
That is tough because you need a lot of land that's not normally used because you just don't want, flying discs flying over everybody.
And you like something, with some terrain as opposed to wide open, because I'm thinking, okay, we could even use the back acreage of the now current Wildcat soccer complex, again, right there at Markland where Berkeley tees in next to the Howard County Jail, across the street there back behind wastewater. If we did something back there, but it's just all flat. There's no trees. There's no, hills and, other obstacles to make it more challenging. So that wouldn't be that fun, but could be an option. But yeah, we'll definitely look at the possibility of dusting off what may have been drawn up for the reservoir park.
Interesting. Okay. Last question is from Timber Pros on live chat. Hey. Is there any dedicated group of contractors the city uses in the event of severe weather when it strikes in our community? If so, how do we sign up? Timber Pros on live chat.
Okay. Typically we use our city resources, our city workers, with the dump trucks and such, but sometimes when it gets a little more involved than what the city departments are able to handle, I think there are possibilities. What you would need to do is contact the street maintenance and refuse department. The superintendent out there is Clint Van Adder. Stop in the offices there they're on Boulevard and can inquire there. I think there may even be information on the third floor at the City Hall, because not necessarily just with storms and such, but if there's the possibility of clearing lots in the case of demolitions that the city has as well, or to clean up. And I know they award those bids once a year, and I think they do it earlier. That's been, I think, a month and a half or so ago. But the next wave would be obviously next winter, where that bid packet can be made available, and you can submit a request to be included on that list for blight property cleanups. But then that could also equate to being on a call list, if you will, if the city has need for that. So street maintenance department, they're on Boulevard, probably have the best answers for that.
Next question is through Jeff. Yeah, one popped up. This is another one actually just came in through email. I'm guessing they're watching the show, which is interesting why they sent it through email. Maybe this was referring back to, I think it was Rob's question earlier, but like, can the citizens make the arrest on a cop? What, isn't there like some?
I don't know.
What is that? It's called
just citizen's arrest.
How does a citizen's arrest even work? Is that real or something that just happens in movies? But then there's another level when you start arresting a cop.
Yeah.
Anarchy is what that would be.
Right. Yeah. So, outside of, I don't know. I mean, you can probably report it. I know that the police department has the 411 app that you can download to your phone and submit anonymous tips for cases of. And so I guess if you're sitting in an intersection or waiting to pull out of an intersection, you see him go by. I know it'd probably be quick, and if it's dark or something, you may not be able to get the plate number, on the police car or the number of the car itself, but can submit a tip that way to kind of bring somebody's attention to it. But I don't know how they would be able to, like, if they're driving, how they'd be able to pull them over. So I'm not sure.
I got a lot of questions. But I literally thought that citizen's arrest was only something that happened in movies.
It might be. Yeah, I have to check on the legalities of that.
Okay. Well, Brady did some research. Where'd you get this research?
Google, everywhere on Google, Indiana state laws.
Okay. No, a civilian in Indiana cannot legally pull over a police officer. Only law enforcement officers with the proper authority and equipment, such as sirens and lights, are authorized to make traffic stops. Best case to get cops tag and call it in.
There you go.
So there you go. Boom, boom. All right. Well, there you have it. Thanks for those questions today on the Ask the Mayor show. I think that's it. I think we're good. That was 17 questions today. That beat our record. I think we were 16 last week. So
awesome.
Goodness gracious. You guys are knocking out those questions. We appreciate it. Thanks for sending those in. If you have any more, leave them in the chat below of this. Or like I said, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can email us at Aaron, ERIN at thekokomopost.com. Always a way to get a hold of us and send those questions in. So I appreciate it. We had email, we had Facebook DMs, we had Instagram DMs, we had Facebook comments, we had live chat, a lot of different ways. We're here to answer those questions.
Appreciate it.
So thanks for watching this episode. Mr. Mayor, do you have a dad joke for us?
Hey, Easter's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's correct.
It is. Like,
it's this coming Sunday.
Before we know it. And the Easter Bunny's having a hard time making arrangements to get everything out. Doesn't quite feel confident using the postal service and everything, so he's found another way to try and get Easter baskets to all the kids, not just in the country, but around the world this year.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to use hair mail.
Because he's a bunny. And another name for bunnies is hares.
Yeah, not
but airmail. Yeah.
Hair mail.
Got it. That was a good one.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partner with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. Like I said, we do the show every Monday, usually around 3:30. Send those questions in. Your question will be answered live on the show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon, Kokomo.
See you, Kokomo.